This is the iconic Hora of the island of Andros in Greece. We're sailing to Andros today from the island of Skiros.
So we're supposed to have a north wind right now, but we're not experiencing anything in this bay, but it does look like just outside of the bay to the south there is wind.
We head out anyway and there's a little bit of wind, so we're sailing on the Genoa. So we put in the effort and we put up the spinnaker, and that was great because we sailed for about 30 seconds and I really enjoyed that. And then the wind was completely gone and we motored the rest of the way. The whole passage was about 50 miles, so that was about 10 hours of motoring. And it's kind of funny because this passage that we're doing is notorious for being one of the most windy passages in Greece. But motoring in glassy conditions, there's definitely a lot of things that could be worse, so we did enjoy it. And it was beautiful. So we motor into the bay of Pyrgos and anchor for the night, and then the next day we motor over to the port of Gavria, where we're greeted by a swan and I act like a gargoyle. But then we rent a car and we decide to explore the island. We head straight across the island. So we go across the island and we come to this church here. And from here, we're able to walk down to one of Andros' most famous beaches. The beach of Tis Grias to Pidima. Thank you very much. If this path wasn't here, getting down to this beach would be a real trouble. But it makes coming down to this beach feel like a mini little adventure. But this beach is famous because it's got this spire, this pillar of rock, and we decided to go for a swim in the crystal clear water. And right around the corner we find some caves.
And in case you didn't know about it, I recently launched Captain Salve, an all-natural skin balm that I developed after years of being exposed to the elements. It's better than anything you can find on the shelves. It's packed with beef tallow and herbs that rejuvenate the skin, and you can pick up a jar over at CaptainSalve.com and know that not only are you feeding your skin, but you're also supporting this channel. Thank you.
But of course, like most places in the world, sadly, the sea has a decent amount of trash in it. But what are you gonna do? Pick it up and get on with your life, because what else are you gonna do about it? The plastic situation and the trash in the ocean is such a depressing topic, so I'm not even going to talk about it. We took out some trash and then we moved on. You can see that this beach is absolutely stunning. So we hopped in the car and headed to our next destination. So we drive to a small village and we begin walking down the path. And soon down the path, we come across this location here. And it was a gathering place in a place where people could wash things that needed to be washed. Now it's not usable because the water is no good. We continue down the path and we walk through the rest of the abandoned village.
And don't abandon your skin like this village was. Get yourself some Captain Salve.
Once we pass through that village, we end up more inside of the valley here. This is the whole reason that we decided to walk down here, is for this bridge. It's a beautiful bridge. And here there's another water spring, and this one doesn't have a sign saying whether or not the water is good or bad.
And check out how much of this island is terraced. All these terraces were built like thousands of years ago. I guess all the stone was hauled by hand and maybe donkeys and whatnot, but nearly the whole island is terraced like this, so they could do farming and, preserve the water, the rainwater, keep it from running off and keep the land, from eroding and whatnot. But it's just absolutely incredible to think about how much effort and work that took to terrace all that, how many people, how long. It blows my mind every time I see it. And it always humbles me and gives me a deep respect for the old way of life, the way that they used to do it in the old world, because, people it's just not like that in the modern world. Fortunately or unfortunately, it just is the way it is. I mean, that bridge there is a beautiful arched stone bridge, and I mean, seriously, who today is going to build a bridge like that?
From there, we head to the Hora. And the Hora of Andros is one of the most iconic Horas in all of Greece. So anyway, we didn't explore Andros too much. We swung by the Hora, and then we went to another stone bridge to see and fly FPV. We are out in the middle of nowhere on Andros. You wouldn't think that you could get to a super remote place on an island, but we're about as remote as it gets on this island. We're way down a dirt road, and we've got 400 meters to walk to get to an old bridge, and we passed an old man that said, "Watch out because there are snakes everywhere." And I asked Nikki what kind of snakes, and she said venomous vipers. So we got 400 meters to go. We're in the middle of nowhere. All we want to do is look at a bridge. Boy, this place is lovely.
Look at the butterfly.
Yeah. But because this bridge was much more in the forest, my camera was tilted a little bit too much up because I wasn't going as fast. And so the footage didn't really turn out all that great. But it was a beautiful place, and it had a weird, magical, abandoned, spooky vibe to it. It was both magical with tons of butterflies and everything like that, but then it also had this weird kind of spooky vibe to it, like decomposing.
The bottom, and it's all like branches and trees and things that are not solid, and so it's creepy.
So we went for a dip at the waterfall and then kept moving. And the fun part was really moving east along the coast of the island, because once we started moving again, we had decent amounts of wind and we were able to sail kind of across the island, stopping in Anchorage, stay for the night, and then sail again the next day. And it was good sailing. It was flat seas because we were in the lee of the island, but it was still blowing like 25, 30 knots, so very fun sailing.
And this is the type of sailing that you normally get around this island during Meltemi. Just really strong winds coming down from the mountains, so they're a bit katabatic as well, and it's super fun.
And on our second sail along the coast of Andros, the furling line got all tangled up, so I actually had to go up, leave Nikki on the helm, and untangle the furling line at the bow. And that was a little bit of a task, but I was able to get it all done. That was a very active 2-hour-long sail. How did you like 30 knots?
Pretty exciting.
So we got to an Anchorage, and I decided to go for a swim, to go check on the anchor and just go for a swim. And I realized that just about 1.5 meters from where we dropped the anchor was a little octopus home. So I set up the GoPro and left it just to see what would happen, and this is what happened. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like the channel, subscribe.
And don't forget to get yourself a jar of Captain Salve over at CaptainSalve.com. Big love, and as always, have a great week.